Every day is a fresh start. It's a new opportunity to show up in a way that we've always wanted to show up. The challenge is when we let our past dictate our future or our present, or we get so wrapped up in being better and chasing the future, sometimes we forget to just enjoy now and this opportunity that we have to show up powerfully, be excited, and create something wonderful that we never thought was possible. I'm Latia, and I love personal development. I love taking care of myself, figuring new things out, finding ways to have breakthrough moments, and being the strong, powerful woman that I am, and supporting other people in their journey as well. So this morning, I have done my morning pages. I'm making a YouTube video. I've been brainstorming on my next week. It's Tuesday, and I'm just looking at these next 7 days because I would like to make sure I handle my commitments, that I focus on them, and that I understand what are the goals that I'm out to accomplish for the week. So fortunately, I had a productive day at work yesterday. I worked remotely, but it was awesome to finally complete a task that I've been working on for a while, and that generates momentum for me. There's also this book that I'm reading, The Artist's Way, and it has morning pages as an exercise. There are tasks that you do every week, and this week the challenge is reading deprivation. I am a book nerd and I love to read. So this is something that feels kind of necessary because I have been feeling like I consume the work of other people more often than I create. And I've been knowing that there's going to be this shift in how I operate. So part of me is like, we are just so in tune. I feel like it's time. So I don't fully know how I'll do it because my job requires Slack messaging and things like that. But I can definitely not read as I take the subway. I can save reading for home, the little bits of research I might need to do for my homework or different things. And that's coaching, my HP coaching program homework, because I have a coach that I'm working with. And so right now, my next step is to create my plan for implementing my goals, which are business related, some are health and wellness related, not necessarily the top 3 goals that I've set, but I already know that the work involves taking care of yourself, getting in the best shape of your life, and showing up for you. And so where I'm at on my journey is a spiritual space where I really want to tap into the divine within myself and to feel grounded and powerful and present. I feel the presence of the divine when I meet other people, when I listen to them, when I realize there are things that multiple people keep telling me and I may not always take action on it, but there is an awareness that whether I would like to admit it or not, I learn more about what I need to do when I pay attention to the people around me instead of when I'm trying to figure it out on my own, or I'm analyzing everything and I'm breaking everything down into the smallest detail to figure something out. So what that tells me is that I'm either more intuitive than I give myself credit for. I've done enough thinking and studying, so I'll be fine. I just have to have the faith that everything is okay, all is well. No matter what I do, I can't escape my destiny. And just showing up and really being open, receptive, observant, and allowing whatever to happen, knowing that I can be grounded in myself, my body, all that I have to offer and have received from being alive. So that is something that I feel that we are all on a journey with, that as we grow up, it's easy to think that who we are is wrong, that we're not going to change, that we're stuck with these problems that we've inherited or developed in reaction to our parents. And the truth is that at any time we can choose to shape our narrative. We can take control of what makes us happy and honor that I am not my parents, I am me, and I love my parents, and they created a starting point and a structure for who I am. So my aunt, uncle, and I were having conversations, and what I learned from it is I am the same as when I was a kid. My uncle was like, you've always been aware of everything. you've always been in tune, and you've always had a positive attitude. And to have someone who saw me when I was a kid say that I've always had a positive attitude is great, because my dad would tell me I had a negative attitude. So it's interesting, because now I have another person who's giving me positive feedback about who I was, instead of only having my dad's angry in the moment feedback to operate from. So that gives me a choice. I can choose to continue honoring that my dad said I have a bad attitude, and I'm trifling, lazy, dirty, nasty, all the negative things that he said, which were also when he was finally expressing his frustration. So there's definitely a negative charge and an air of, I'm frustrated and have had enough with your behavior, and I don't express it in healthy ways. Along with, I remember you as a kid, and you were my helper, and you were there for me, and you were always positive and knowing and aware. Now I have that choice. Do I want to continue this story that doesn't make me feel good and is a reason, an explanation for, of course I failed, I'm lazy, I can't help myself? Or would I like, no, I've been a helper. Someone saw potential in me and still sees it and is pleasantly not surprised that I'm doing what I'm doing. And my uncle also let me know, he's like, both of your parents are go-getters. They are people who get stuff done, so there was no chance for you not to. And for me, I'm like, that makes so much sense, because growing up, I remember I was in high school, I was leaving Alabama when one of my cousins passed away. I've never met this cousin, and I believe it was the first time I was aware of going to our family's plantation in Alabama, where they don't have chicken, and it's kind of in the middle of nowhere, but there's also a catfish farm on the way in. I think they used to own it, but different shifts in land. But there were 3 different houses, a very ramshackle house, there was a mobile home, and maybe a 3rd building that they've lived in. And so it was family history right there. There was even a burial plot, so I could see where some of my family members had been buried. And so we were there for this funeral, and on the way back to my grandma's, I believe, my dad was upset about something and just kind of yelling at me, or I don't know. It was typical behavior for my dad. I was just like, listen, like, yeah, that's cool, Dad, like, got it. And his girlfriend at the time, she was like, wow, you are so strong. And for me, I was like, strong? Like, what are you talking about? Like, life keeps moving. You can either get in the flow of it and realize that things are going to change. This is a moment. There's nothing so serious here. Or we can get stuck in this, my dad hates me and he's mad and I have to deal with this and blah, blah, blah. It's not that way. We always have a choice. And for me, I tend to choose enjoying myself, showing up, continuing to do the work. I've had people question my efforts in making these videos, and it made me laugh when I asked more questions, because I'm like, this person mentioned a humble brag, and I'm like, yes, I brag. I don't even know if humble would be part of it. I am proud of myself. I worked hard. I got here based on my desire to take education and improve my life. Yes, I'm gonna brag. And there's this women's School of Womanly Arts program that I've done, and they teach women to brag. And for me, that's the easy part. It's like, oh, let me tell you all the ways in which I am a miracle, and you should be proud to be blessed with my presence. That is the easiest thing for me to do. I can do gratitudes off the drop of a dime, and desires. Oh my gosh, I have so many desires. And my desires are like, I desire that someone buy me red bottom heels and they are custom just for me. I desire that someone designs outfits for me, and I have stylish wardrobes and people who get my outfits ready for me, and I just show up every morning and it's like, yes, I love that, or take it away. Don't bring that into my face again. I don't like it. And then bring it back. Why did you listen to me? It was just a moment. That was just not the day for it. It'll be fun. And just honor where I am. And bragging, it's a tool of the School of Womanly Art created by Regina Thomas Sauer, who goes by Mama Gina. And for me, bragging, that's natural. My mom always made fun of me for bragging, because I know I'm great. That has never been a question in my mind. I'm smart, I'm beautiful, I'm intelligent, I get stuff done. In the 3rd grade, I saw that I had B's and C's, and I was like, 1, I didn't know I was getting letter grades. 2, I'm a straight A student, and I had straight A's through 8th grade, got a B first semester high school, and then I was still like honor roll top 10 in high school, but I knew that I could do better, and then I would. I got Dean's List multiple times throughout college, and when I put my mind to something, it's done. Anytime I want to do something, it's a done deal. It's not even a matter of, oh, what is it going to take? Can I do it? No, I said, daily YouTube challenge, done. Then midway through, I was like, just make a video a day. I can do this. I talk enough. I have enough ideas. Done. For me, it's not a matter of believing in myself or do I have faith that I can do it? For me, it's just, did I choose to do it? Yes or no? If yes, we're getting it done. If no, I don't want to. Like, I either didn't want to, I wasn't committed, or I didn't have a clear vision for the purpose of something, so it was easy to give up on. If you don't know why you're doing something, what's the point? So waste our time doing things that don't matter so we can feel like we're getting something done, and at the end of the day we have nothing to show for it. We don't feel any better, and it's just like, wow, that was a whole lot of nothing. Which, for the record, a lot of people tend to do when they have conversations. It's a lot of words to make very few points. It's not always a bad thing, because I understand we speak in stories, and sometimes people will take a yes or no question and explain their reasonings and then give the answer, or they imply the answer. It's a yes or no question. Why are we making this so difficult? It makes me think of the Bible story where Jesus is like, would you like to walk? Well, I've been like this my whole life. I'm not familiar. I don't know what walking's like. It's weird. Excuse you. Would you like to walk? Yes or no? You want this or not? Because we can get you walking, or you can just keep running your mouth and nothing's going to happen. And eventually they get the yes, and it's like, stand up and walk. And he walks, and it's just like, oh, wow. If I would have just said yes, we would have gotten here a lot quicker. It's like, yeah, make your point. Have something to say. If you tell a story, let's make it relevant to what you're saying. At the same time, I go on tangents all the time. So sometimes I'm not patient with people. It's just like, I don't know if it's you, my mood, my blood sugar. Could very well be my blood sugar. I just haven't eaten enough. I'm not me when I'm hungry. Or you're boring. I'm sorry, I'm bored. I don't know how to entertain myself with this nonsense you are spewing at me. Oh my gosh, the worst are the people who think that they're giving me advice, and I'm just like, didn't ask your opinion or your advice. I'm just telling you what's happening in my life. Unlike most people, I'll be honest, I went to this one conference because I felt depressed. I felt stuck. It was an opportunity to go somewhere, and I wanted a change of scenery and was hoping I could come back and just have more energy about my life. Because sometimes when you take a step away, you have that space to just, oh, it's not as bad as I think it is, or yep, that was crap. I need to get out of this now. And so for me, after my first summit recently, I was just like, I need to honor me first, take care of Tia, make sure I'm doing good. Let's forget about this job thing, and like, let's just make sure we're like good enough, but whatever. And then bad week between conferences. It was not my best week, I will admit. And I was like, I'm struggling, but I need to not do this because things just stress me out and I don't know how to manage. And then the next time I went to a conference, definitely messed up real bad on, like, I don't know why the 3-hour time difference didn't factor in, and I was just exhausted. And going to San Diego, it was like, I'm tired. I'm just tired. And so then it was, I am sucking at my job. I don't enjoy it. And I'm not being myself. It's hard for me to show up as me because I'm so used to people being like, you need to change this, you need to change that, nobody likes you, you're bad. And so it was easy to just be like, let me shut it off. I don't care if you fire me, it's whatever. Well, at the same time, it's like, let's not get fired again. I'm tired of that. I've been on that cycle. It's not fun. It doesn't feel good. I've been rejected. I've straight up, hey, want to dance? And a guy turned and walked away from me. That's okay. I don't mind that. It's just like, oh, I'm not your cup of tea. You don't realize I'm amazing. You're lost. But at work, it's just like a whole new level of this is my baby. I'm doing the best that I can. I'm honoring this as much as I can. And there's so much effort and my time and my sweat and my attention. And I'm here every day. And why isn't this working? And so it was nice to get feedback and be able to work with them. And like, okay, now I understand. I don't like it, but this is what you expect. So if I want to continue getting a paycheck, I guess I'll start delivering in the way that you're asking. Like, I'm cool with this because I know I wasn't doing well, but I also prefer when I mess up because then you can understand the boundaries that people are working within. Because a lot of times we just assume we're talking the same language, and a lot of times I can tell when we're not, and I'm just like, you're like here, and you're like grooving and flowing, and you're saying great stuff, and I'm like, and it's just like I can tell that we're like not grooving. There's like no synergy, as people like to say. There's none of this. It's a lot of like, and it's tough, especially because it's like I can tell you're not speaking my language, and I can't tell how to help you get that. I'm aware, kind of, but I just don't know how to explain myself in a way that you'll understand. So it's easier if I just kind of fall back and like let this ride by. So it's not that I try to be obnoxious, it's just that I just don't know how to quickly understand some people, which is interesting because my little sister, one of my sisters, used to, I don't even know what it was, but it was like she wouldn't speak proper English for a while, and she went to speech therapy and different things, and she's an amazing speaker and leader, and she's incredible. And it's funny because I haven't thought about it in years, but I used to be like an interpreter for her. So she would like try to explain herself and people wouldn't get it, and I'd just be like, guys, this is what she's asking for, like, come on now. And it's so funny because we were and still are super close, and it's just like, wow, I've been interpreting for people and helping them to make their point and getting in their world since I was young. And it's even more fascinating to me because this happened in a conversation where we were talking about what if we didn't have senses, and what would it be like to gain them and have to learn about them, because things all start off as a blur until you have your senses. At the same time, you already have a body, like there's a center that you've experienced, but you just may not, like if you can't see, you don't see it. Like what senses do you or do you not have? And we were talking about Helen Keller and how it's like, wow, like for not being able to see or hear, how she could communicate more effectively than so many people and really seem to live life well when she could. And as we were talking about it, I was like, oh man, I remember the days when my sister didn't speak as well as she does now, and I would help her out with that. And it was just like, wow, if I was able to be part of her world and get where she was and to help make her message known for others, then I wonder if there's some of that trickles into what I do now that I haven't even been able to acknowledge or realize, that even though, yes, as we got older, like we had a phase where we would fight and argue, and we still do sometimes, that we love each other so much. And I don't know, it's just heartwarming because the journey that I've been on in my life and with my family, I've never wanted to deny it or act like, you know, the different things didn't happen, but I didn't want to be someone who was defined by my parents' relationship or the way I used to treat my sisters or the way my past work experiences had. Like, I never wanted to be defined based on my past and limited to that. And so it's awesome to feel like I'm growing and I'm changing and I'm allowing myself to enjoy each day anew. So instead of seeing myself as all those bad moments and the bad things people say, I'm like, attaboy, you doing well. Like, keep it up, get it together, you got this. And it's so awesome to just shift from feeling like any mistake is the end of the world to, if I know my heart was in the right place and I'm willing to humbly apologize and really repent for what I did wrong and to do my best to show up and improve, we can clean up any messes that come up in relationships. Because I believe that my relationship with God and as a Christian, I feel like I'm a bad Christian. Like, I would be like, I'm more of a heathen and I just do what I want. And I choose that because I don't want to repent for a way of life that I'm not willing to give up. I'm not willing to ask for help in giving up. I'm like, please, Holy Spirit, don't stop me in the middle of my groove. I am about to have some fun. Please let me enjoy myself because, like, whew, stress relief feels so good. And so I feel like the challenge that we come into, or for me, is do I really want to repent for sins that I'm still thoroughly enjoying? And part of me is like, well, I mean, if I love God enough, maybe I would. And another part of me is like, God is a very forgiving God. I wonder how much God even remembers or cares about. Not that I'm not like, maybe I'm just building up a bunch of karma, so once I do finally like come back, I'll have like the guilt. But then at the same time, it's probably the fact that I feel guilty that I'm not repenting because I know that I'm not of a repentant heart. It's like, I don't see the weight of my sins. I'm ignoring them for now, if you will. And I know that God is still a loving God. And so it's like, I mean, if you were willing to let me get on prayer calls, you didn't smite me, and you gave me a good word, maybe we're in a better standing than I give us credit for. And I'm just the one who's like, yes, God forgives me, but I don't forgive me. So I'm blocking that relationship because I'm like, oh God, you know what I did. You know what I did. You know my heart. Oh, what? And sometimes, like, I know I'm still like, I know you exist. I don't fully understand, and I'm willing to explore, and I'm eager to commune and like really get to that love space where I am convicted and ready to change my ways. And I'm gonna enjoy doing what I do until that time comes, because why not? Life is short. It's the blink of an eye. It's fleeting in the grand scheme of things. So why not have fun and have faith that I like, for me in the Bible, that's a forgiving God. I don't know what's coming next, but I know I'm gonna enjoy it, and that life has been too miraculous for me to not continue just having faith that things will be fun. So every day is a chance to change your story, see yourself in a new light, and do a 180. And even sometimes we discover things about ourselves that we've forgotten. Because like, I forgot that I would help my sister communicate with the world. I forgot that I was devastated when my parents divorced, and I remember being like, Dad, if you stay, I'll be good. I'll be good. And it only came up because around 12, I was seeing all these movies with these kids and their parents divorcing when they were older, and they're like, it's not our, we'll be good. And I'm like, that's nonsense. I never did that. I was happy my parents separated. They needed space. And then like I had a flashback, and I was like, oh, never mind. I was 4. It was easy to forget. Now I've recalled. Okay, my bad. It's facts. Carry on. Don't mind my temper tantrum. So it's just, I don't know. It's just so much fun to explore my journey, my perspectives, the way I show up in the world, how other people see me, how people see my parents, how the way my aunt sees my dad is like me, where he's friends with everyone unless he doesn't like you. He'll forgive you if he doesn't like you, but he'll know how to operate with you. And I was like, no wonder people who are like, I love everybody and I'm friends with everyone, trigger me so much. It's like, ugh, that's gross. And it's like, oh, because that's me. I'm like that. I just don't like to be, because I'm like, too many people are mean to me. Y'all hurt my feelings. So forget about it. And now I'm like, all right, I'm a little bit loving, but don't take advantage. Or take advantage. It'll work out in the grand scheme of things. But have a wonderful day. Let's make it great and keep shining.